So this is where she tries to wrap it up. So she's telling her cameraman, like, we're going to segue out of this interview. And this is where he messes up and says, we're at the 5-year mark. And then he catches himself. Did anybody here catch Sheriff Nanos say it was the 5-year mark?
I know this is the 5-month mark.
Yes.
And
there it was.
Our thoughts are still and 5-month mark. I don't even want to think about being in that place. Here you are 5 months later and you still have no answers.
You're in the place with them and you're giving them zero hope. You're giving your community zero hope that you're competent. You've already received a vote of no confidence from the Pima County Deputies Union, right? So Sheriff Nanos, again, missed an opportunity to stare at the camera and tell these people who are responsible for what happened to Nancy Guthrie that we will hunt you down and we will bring you to justice and we will not stop until you are in handcuffs. Never heard a sheriff like, look, we look at Polk County, right? Sheriff Grady Judd. That man knows how to hold a press conference and knows how to stare into the camera and say, if you commit a crime in Polk County, you're going to get locked up. He seemed very comfortable in this interview, and let us know what you think in the comment section. Didn't Sheriff Nanos look like he was the CEO of a company that just sat there with his arms folded or his hands crossed, or hand gestures all around? He seemed very comfortable because he knew that that woman wasn't going to come at him tough. Let's take a listen.
News anchor Brooke Wagner joining us live from the Sheriff's Department headquarters.
Right, Mary, we do have all of that. And just as we were putting together our story after our one-on-one interview with Sheriff Nanos, we received this statement from the FBI regarding reports from other media saying the FBI believes ransom notes in the Guthrie case have been deemed fake. Here is what they say to that. Quote, the FBI and its task force partners have received several ransom notes over the course of this investigation. Some have been deemed to be extortion attempts without legitimacy. Other ransom demands may be potentially legitimate and are still being investigated as such. This case continues to be investigated as a kidnapping for ransom case. The FBI has and will continue to offer all assistance possible in the investigation. However, local authorities remain the lead. Now,
I got to put us back on just for a second. I don't know if you caught that, but we know, and most true crime enthusiasts know that the FBI and locals, Pima County, I don't even like to say it, but they're the lead on this because it's a local case. It's not a fed case yet. Pima County and the FBI, if a ransom email or note, as they're calling it, comes in, they got to run it down. They got to say it's legitimate until it's deemed not legitimate. But when you see statements like this, and then you see some of the reporting, this is what's causing the confusion, is that some reporting, like Reuters, is saying that the FBI deemed them all to be fake from their sources, right? Reuters sources. Then you have TMZ, this clown, this jagaloon, Harvey Levin, saying and doubling down, I called the FBI and I spoke with this one and I spoke with that one.
I'm working with them.
Yeah, I'm working with them. He uploaded a video on TMZ tonight that said he spoke with the guy who allegedly has the video. It was a replay of him and Mark Garagos. They never even said in the video that they talked to this guy. So this,
all I have to say about this is, hey, TMZ, stick to what you do best. Go to Tay-Tay's wedding at the Garden.
There would be no story to report on if the sheriff came on and said, look, it's an active and an ongoing investigation and we can't give up where we're at because it could hurt the investigation. That's basically what he would probably say to them. But this reporting and this back and forth between reporters trying to, pump their chests and say, hey, my sources, the FBI didn't deem them illegitimate. They deemed them legitimate. This fight, who does this help? Does this help Nancy Guthrie? Does this help the case at all? This helps just to fudge it up and make it even more dirty.
However, local authorities remain the lead. Now, those local authorities certainly include the Sheriff's Department here and Sheriff Chris Nanos.
But I guess there's something out now that says, the FBI or the sheriff have dismissed notes. That is not the truth. What we know is we have a number of notes that we are actively looking at and will continue to actively investigate.
And he also told me, by the way, that there have been arrests made over fake notes throughout this case. So at 13 News, we have made a very thought out decision not to cover some of these reports from other media outlets because we can't confirm them independently. And also, we are part of.
You see where this is going, Ed? How these news outlets, including herself, they're trying to say, we're going to be better. We're not going to report on these other news outlets. And she didn't mention any news outlets by name. Neither does TMZ. They don't mention Reuters reported that the FBI sources that they have said that all of these notes were deemed illegitimate. But she's saying, generally speaking, we're not going to report on anything and be responsible. Can you guys all see this title? I spoke to the Nancy Guthrie letter writer. And what is it? You click on it, and it's him and Mark Garagos from last week when he was on the Garagos podcast. There's nowhere in this video where he speaks about speaking to the Nancy Guthrie letter writer. This is garbage. All right, so this is how the interview starts off. This is the hardest question she asks them in the whole video.
Is there anything at all new? Is there any movement or action right now in the case?
Well, there's always a lot going on with this case. Every day, our teams meet with the FBI. They're assigned to that task force. It's a task force of probably about 10 to 15 of our teams, and the FBI has dedicated workforces to it. But it's about sitting down at the table and talking, what do we have working today? And a lot of times it's maybe working with labs across the country on DNA. It may be working with maybe Google or somebody on our videos and what we can do with that. It could be working on a number of pieces. I think there's been a lot of talk about ransom notes. We're looking into that, and those are notes that we've been pretty consistent. You know, you divvy up the work, right? We took the DNA, we gave the ransom notes to the FBI. They look at those, and we every day come to the table and share the information and try to come up with some ideas what else we can do to get things going.
So this is what's the crazy part as a law enforcer, and Ed, you and I have had, decades of service here in the Northeast in the NYPD, but you would think that a guy like this is not like, hey, I want to catch you for an interview. This is a planned interview, right? Mm-hmm. So he knew that there was going to be a camera shoved in front of his face. Don't you think that he, or maybe his second in command, would have sat down and said, you know what? I think this is going to be a good opportunity for me, the Pima County Sheriff, the elected sheriff, to say in front of the camera, we're coming for you and we're not going to stop. So don't sleep with one eye open, because we're going to catch your ass and we're going to bring you to justice. But he didn't do it. This is what's got me so pissed about this interview. I mean, he's so unprofessional and all over the place. This is an embarrassment to all sheriffs across the United States. This guy failed, and that's part of this title. Another missed opportunity by Sheriff Nanos.
But it's constant. This is every single day. This isn't, well, we don't have anything to do. No. And on top of all that, and that's where you all play a big role, we still need tips. We still want those non-emergency line, our 351-4900 or FBI tip line, because every piece of information that's out there could prove vital. You don't know all the things we know, and we still need to know what you know, because there's something out there that we don't know. We think somebody knows.
What did he just say?
There's something out there that we don't know.
We think somebody knows something. So call us with whatever tip you might have. Every piece of evidence, every single tip we have, they are worked, they are looked at very seriously, and nothing is dismissed. So don't think this is too small or this was too long.
This guy's an embarrassment. And he is a career 30-year law enforcer, and he guy's way in over his head, and he doesn't know his ass from his elbow.
Are you still getting quite a few tips?
As what you would expect, they have drastically gone down. I mean, the first few days we were just inundated with them, which helps. Now we have to catalog them, prioritize them, look through them. We still get tips day to day, but not the volume we were, but they're still coming. And we would never discourage that. Continue with that.
What kind of forensic evidence is still in the lab at this point?
We've talked a lot about DNA. and I can't get into it real specific, but we have a lot of DNA that we're still working with the labs. And the labs are, they've been incredible. It's not just our lab and FBI lab. These are labs across the country, and they understand way better than the sheriff DNA and concepts and new technology that's coming or that exists, and says, hey, we have this DNA, but it's overlapped by 4 other people. Maybe I touch this pad and 3 of us touch that pad. We get DNA, but there's 4 that you got to separate. And it's that kind of conversation of from one lab to the other. How did you guys deal with this? How would you handle that? And then of course you've got genealogy, and those have a different set of rules, if you will, and science behind it to say how they can work with all of that. So
you could tell he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, what is he taking? Never mind. I was going to say he's taking word salad lessons. Okay, he's just spinning the wheels here and dazzling them with bullshit.
He's mixing up a horrible, horrible garden salad for us that has really bad dressing on it.
Let me go get some salad dressing.
Those labs, our teams, the FBI are working on it constantly.
So the testing that's still going on, it's not unusual that this would go on over month after month. It takes that long to kind of.
Absolutely. Especially when you throw in genealogy. Now you're trying to, hey, it's not the bad guy, but this person might be the bad guy's relative 3 times over. So it's a cousin, or it's a nephew, and so that has to be broken down. And
this guy's whole intentions behind these interviews are to me, and to sidestep what the meat and potatoes is here. And the meat and potatoes are, we need to bring these bad guys to justice. He's saying everything but that. It's just crazy. So on behalf of everybody here, I hope you have a safe and happy and healthy 4th of July. We always send strength, prayers, and positive vibes to the Guthrie family and to all victims of crime. And thank you guys. We'll see you soon. Peace and love from Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. Happy 4th.